Today on Week in Review, Alberta's pipeline proposal is causing some political unrest. Prince Rupert's boil water notice was finally lifted, and a local talent show was recently held in Terrace. Hello, I'm Cael Maslin, and thanks for joining us here on Week in Review, where we cover all of the news here in the Northwest from this past week. A political tug-of-war is brewing over Alberta's push for a West Coast pipeline project, and Skeena-Bulkley Valley MP Ellis Ross is weighing in as Premier David Eby's comments stir political backlash. CFTK-TV's Helena Sante has more.
Premier Danielle Smith is calling her $14 million chance for Canada to rise as the world's leading energy superpower.
Us right now is a once-in-a-generation opportunity to unlock our wealth of resources and become a world-leading energy superpower.
MP Ellis Ross says the real issue is clarity.
Well, there's no clarity at all right now with the major projects office process that they developed to fast-track projects. And if there's no clarity in terms of how it's going to be implemented, then no private investor is going to invest billions to build a pipeline, let alone a terminal. I think what Alberta did was in response to what the federal Liberals and Prime Minister Carney announced. And it was only natural for Alberta to do this because Prime Minister Carney said that he was going to turn Canada into an energy superpower. As well, he was going to make sure that Canada was the best performing country under the G7, which is a bold promise. I'll say that. That's a real bold promise.
He says he does not agree with Premier David Eby's comment.
Advance a project that is entirely taxpayer funded, has no private sector proponent, is not a real project, and is incredibly alarming.
No, I don't agree with the Premier in saying that because Alberta doesn't have much of a choice. I mean, nobody's going to invest in Canada right now, let alone BC, given the really vague major projects office mandate. The major projects office doesn't seem to make any sense, given you've got already Canadian Impact Assessment Agency that's basically designed to do the exact same thing.
Ross says his focus remains on balancing economic opportunity with accountability and ensuring that Indigenous voices are at the center of every major project moving forward.
As a First Nations leader back in those days during Chevron LNG, the development of Haisla Cedar LNG, in terms of Rio Tinto Alcan's modernization and LNG Canada itself, not only did we look to those standards to protect and balance our interests, we actually hired those standards. We got to talk about this in the full spectrum of what this means, not only to First Nations, but to all Canadians, present and future.
For now, Alberta's pipeline do-over remains an idea and a renewed question about what reconciliation through resource development really means. CFTK-TV News, Helena Sante.
In a positive development following a lengthy issue for the city of Prince Rupert's, their boil water notice has been lifted. The city said in a statement released on Friday that multiple tests showed the disinfection system is working effectively. The city said residents are advised that the boil water notice has been rescinded following confirmation with Northern Health that the chlorine disinfection system has been able to maintain appropriate levels of disinfection and meets required water quality standards. They say this has been verified through multiple tests over the past few weeks, which was a condition to remove the notice. The notice began in early August as a result of issues maintaining an appropriate level of chlorine and associated disinfection of water throughout the water distribution system. The city said they're working with engineering consultants to continue to work on solutions to prevent disinfection failure in the future and will provide updates to the community as that work progresses. In the meantime, they want to advise the community that the ongoing major replacement work of water infrastructure has the potential to generate future water quality advisories over the coming weeks and months, and encourage the community to subscribe to emergency alerts to stay informed. Next up is a look at a preview for a recent show meant to showcase local talent and help raise money for a future project. This coming Friday, we'll see the Skeena Valley Senior Society put the first ever edition of the Terrace Has Talent show on at the R.M. Lee Theater, and it will begin at 6 p.m. And there won't be a shortage of acts in both number and variety.
It's going to be a great show. We've got 18 acts, dance, song, instruments. It's going to be awesome, all ages. Tickets are $10. Tickets are available at Misty River Books. They're also available at Seniors Corner behind me at 2213 Archer on Bronze Island. They're also we are also going to different places in the community. So we're at Canadian Tire on Friday, Safeway on Wednesday and Thursday, and Save on Monday and Tuesday from 10 to 3.
And while one clear intention of the event is to show off some of the talented people that reside in and around the Terrace area, the Society also has another goal in mind that they hope to accomplish with the funds that the event generates.
It's a fundraiser for Skeena Valley Senior Society because we are hoping to create and build in the spring the Elder Barn on this property behind me. So behind me is a large root cellar that Seniors Corner has been operating out of for the last few months. We believe that Seniors Corner holds a really important spot in our community with regard to the interface between our seniors and the rest of the community. So we're going to build an elder barn directly behind this building to replace the barn that was there before. And we're going to continue to build food security and food sovereignty for our seniors and our community on a farm that has been operational since 1965 and continues to be so.
Diana Penner, the president of the society, also explained where the idea to put on this show came from.
The fact that every event that we hold is associated with talent. So we start every one of our social events, and we hold one every month with games. So normally bingo and or something like that, with food, and then always with entertainment. So because we always have entertainment as a big component to what we do, it is who we are. So we are all about fun, interaction, hanging out, and supporting one another.
The show is expected to last until around 9 p.m. and will feature both a 50-50 draw as well as a silent auction. For CFTK-TV News, I'm Cael Maslin. Up next, Canada's postal strike might not end anytime soon. Welcome back. The Terrace RCMP were seeking out a suspicious man. Parents reported a suspicious man at Lake House Lake picnic site in early September, as the man was following female youths to the bathroom and making attempts to spy on them, and when he was confronted, he left the area. Police are trying to identify the man, who has been described as a Caucasian male that's likely between 5'6" and 5'8" with a heavy build and tattoo on his right forearm. He's also believed to be around 50 to 60 years old and was last seen wearing a black t-shirt, black shorts, and shoes with white soles, while also carrying a blue lunch bag. Anyone with information about the man is asked to call the Terrace RCMP at 250-638-7400. The work stoppage that is preventing Canadians from getting their mail doesn't appear to be coming to an end anytime soon. The strike involving Canada Post workers has lasted for a bit over a week now, and as a result, people that are hoping to see their mail or parcels soon will have to continue playing the waiting game. The president of the Terrace BC branch of the Canadian Union of Postal Workers gave a brief summary on what was the inciting incident of the work stoppage.
The government basically gave the wrong impression of the meeting on Thursday and the unionized wanted to do a full-on strike to get our word out straight, because we've been waiting for results and we voted on the last results of the final offer of a no, and they haven't been talking to our union at all.
There has been no word on when the two sides might return to the negotiating table, and if the postal strike that occurred last year is any kind of indication, this process could end up being quite lengthy.
Last year we were out for almost 5 weeks so I don't know how long else we'll be back.
This strike, combined with the BC General Employees Union's own still ongoing strike, could potentially begin to be really problematic for the province of BC, with the amount of services that residents don't have access to. For CFTK-TV News, I'm Cael Maslin. And now for a look at a recreational sporting event in Kitimat that is in part meant to act as a transition between seasonal sports for a club in Kitimat. For the first time in a little while, the Hirsch Creek Golf and Winter Club put on an event that puts a spotlight on a pair of sports that most people would think are not compatible. This past weekend, the club held their Swing and Sweep event, a combination of golf and curling activities tailored to include multiple people, and included various cash prizes alongside a few other items.
Teams of people play both sports and collect points through their golf and collect points through curling. It's combined, and we find a winner by the end of the competition.
Although before the event could properly get underway, a tribute was held to celebrate the life of one of the club's most notable members.
Ian Illing has been a longtime member, a board member, and then interim staff member of the club, and was very much the leader of the club, of curling, and of the community for many, many years, and just suddenly passed away recently. So this event is a bunch of his friends and colleagues that are gathering before this event kicks off, because he was passionate about this, and just saying their goodbyes to him and a bit of a tribute to him.
And as for the actual events, the golf side of things was described as being a team scramble where everyone hits a ball, then the best shot is picked out, and then people hit again. And the curling was a shortened four-end version of it. The club is the only facility in northwestern BC where both of those particular sports can be played in the same place. But there was one other part of the event that people could compete in as well, and that was the fish race.
The fish race is a little display with some salmon fish on it, and then a roll of the dice and the fish move. And so it's like a little fish race. It's more to do with curling than golf, but it's part of this event and should be lots of fun.
The event was originally last held 7 years ago, and it had been on hiatus ever since due to a variety of complications such as the COVID pandemic. But now the Hirsch Creek Club has brought it back and expanded it to last an entire weekend instead of just a single day, and their hope is that they can continue to hold it every year as well as keep making it bigger. For CFTK-TV News, I'm Cael Maslin. The town of Smithers conducted their annual Business Walk event this past Thursday afternoon. The event ran from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. and was intended to help create a better understanding of the town's current business climate, in addition to strengthening communications between the local business community and Smithers. Town council, staff, and Chamber of Commerce members also look to confirm if their program property reflects the diversity of businesses that are based in Smithers. After the break, the return of a Nisga'a totem pole sparked a celebration. Welcome back. The return of a Nisga'a totem pole sparked a celebration that brought generations together, where young athletes witnessed history, elders shared their stories, and a feast united the community. CFTK's Helena Sante shares more.
Among the crowd, young university basketball players witnessing history. They weren't just there for the game, but to learn, to listen, and to stand alongside a community reclaiming what was taken more than 80 years ago. Elders say the raising of the pole is more than tradition. It's a way to pass on knowledge and keep culture alive.
It was a pretty historic event for myself because I'm a Wilkes-Alexa paternal family to the late Hubert Haldane and the present Samagat La, as well as the late Norman Tate. So it was pretty emotional that I'm here today and being able to bring the pole home and bringing my uncle's wishes to fruition. It's a momentous occasion for the Nisga'a Nation as well as for the museum and the Wilp itself.
Our great-grandfathers and our forefathers before us, they always reminded us to remember spirituality whenever they raise a totem pole, because the totem pole itself is a storyteller of that house, whatever they do in that, whatever comes out of the house of the clan or the tribe.
The younger generation will have to understand that they will be taught through their schools and through their cultural learnings that the totem pole is also the recognition of the tribe that it came from and who it belongs to, and the history behind that totem pole. In our language, we call it p'tan.
Well, I think in terms of having our children and our youth here today, it is very important because we as the government work very diligently to ensure the success of our children and our youth. And by witnessing an event such as today, showing that through our treaty, we're able to work with partners outside of our valley to ensure that we can work together to get things done in a good way.
And then came the feast, a big meal for the entire village, served in the spirit of sharing. For the Nisga'a Nation, this isn't just history coming home, it's history standing tall for the next generation. CFTK-TV News, Helen Asante.
Continuing with stories that reflect truth and reconciliation, we now bring you a piece by CFTK-TV's Robert Pictou, in which Robert interviewed his father on his experiences in residential school.
If a sister came down and seen there was something on your plate, she'd say you'd have to eat it. And if you never ate it, it was shoved down your throat. And your nose and your mouth be plugged until you did swallow it. And it happened to me. To say what had happened to me at one time, everything was done right at the farm, eh? So the cows was butchered there, but I don't think it was completely cleaned. The meat wasn't completely clean. So there was a piece of gut about the roundness of your thumb. And you're about maybe 10 or 12 years old. And it was left there. And I couldn't eat it. And sister come down and she said, eat that. And I said, I can't eat it, that's gut. And she said, I don't care. She said, you eat it. And I said, no. And I got a good slap side the face. I remember that distinctly. I got a good slap side the face. She put that in the spoon, she shoved it down my mouth, in my mouth. She held my nose and she held my mouth. And I tried to swallow it, but when I did swallow it, I brought everything that was up in my stomach, I brought that up. And that landed in the plate, like the vomit. I was taking your hair is not long, but they grab you right by the back of the head or the hair, and they turn around and they rub your face all in it. Then you stay that way until you went out. After that, I was put into what the boys always called the scourging room. It was a room, maybe say 8 by 10 feet long. All the hard lye soap was stored in there with only one light. And the switch was controlled on the outside. So I was put in there, locked in there, and the light was shut off for bringing up what was in my stomach. I was in there for a week. I was only taken out of there to go to school and would sleep. That was my punishment.
Still to come, a father has spoken out following the death of his son. Welcome back. A father is speaking out following the death of his son and what he says is a lack of investigation into these circumstances.
Lauren Ryan says his son Justin was kind, loving, fun, and generous. The 36-year-old father loved cooking and was planning to go to culinary school. He lived with his sister in the same complex as his family and would often cook meals for everyone to enjoy. Lauren and his family are now grieving the loss of Justin after he was found dead near Red Sand Recreation Site. He had left the day before with what Lauren says was an on-again, off-again girlfriend. Ryan says that when police came to his door at 1 a.m. August 1st, they asked for Ryan to identify his son by his tattoos, then told him that he'd been found deceased.
He was found on the side of the road, just as the entrance as you go down to Red Sand Lake. And they claim that he was falling down, and that's why how they found him. They figure he was falling down. But we had the picture of the young lady that found him deceased, took a picture of him, and the way his arms were tucked in to his stomach and the way it looked like somebody placed him there.
The release from RCMP stated no criminality is suspected, and RCMP stated there is no threat to the public.
The RCMP did release a press statement a day after they found him, claiming no foul play, and the general public wasn't at risk. I'm definitely saying there was foul play. We got to view my son 2 days after they found him at the hospital, and there was 10 of us, their family members plus some friends, and you could just take one look at his face and you know there was foul play. He had 2 black eyes, a broken nose, bruises all over his face, and at that point we knew there was foul play. But so I'm just dumbfounded or astonished of the inactions of the RCMP. To me, every life is valued and should be treated with respect, even when they're deceased. I believe that they jumped to conclusions too quick, and that they didn't, to me, they were negligent in their actions by not following up and doing a proper investigation.
We reached out to RCMP for further information, but were referred to the BC Coroner's Service. We reached out to the BC Coroner's Service, but did not hear back by deadline. For CFTK-TV News in Terrace, I'm Jaylene Matthews.
At the end of September, the Smithers RCMP found a vehicle that was linked to a prohibited driver, and that discovery led to multiple charges being filed against a man named Morgan Redlack. Police discovered the suspect allegedly driving while prohibited, and after arresting him, they searched the vehicle and eventually ended up searching a trailer as well. These searches resulted in the police finding an estimated $10,000 in stolen property items such as an e-bike, Patagonia waders, and a guitar. The Smithers RCMP gave credit to the additional police resources that were available to them because of C-Step, and Redlack was remanded into custody pending a court appearance. The Smithers RCMP have released a report saying that the first 9 months of 2025 have seen a decrease in both property crime and shoplifting incidents in their area. After accounting for 45% of their total calls in 2024, shoplifting only made up 12% of calls for the Smithers detachment in 2025 from January to September. Property crime calls have decreased from 28% to 17% over the same time frame. The Smithers RCMP have credited this change to their enhanced patrols and timely referrals for community supports. They also believe the best way to maintain this change is to continue to have relationships with other local agencies. That wraps up this week's edition of Week in Review. Make sure to tune in to our regular newscast on Tuesday at 5, 6, 6:30, and 11 o'clock here on CFTK-TV. Thanks for tuning in and have a good weekend.